and welcome everyone to the Polity Primer series of Drishti IAS. My name is Pragya and today in this discussion we are going to discuss a very important topic, and that is the basic structure doctrine of our Indian Constitution. The title of our today's discussion is the need to reinforce the basic structure doctrine. In this discussion we will try to find an answer to the question that why the jurisprudential aspect of the basic structure doctrine is highly debatable. We are also going to see the meaning of this term basic structure doctrine. Then we are also going to see the history of the basic structure doctrine. We will also understand what are the various criticisms of the basic structure doctrine, and we will also see why there is the need for reinforcement of this doctrine. And in the end we are going to see a practice question for your prelims examination and a practice question for your mains examination. Now let us proceed to understand the background of our today's topic. So recently it is in news that our Vice President had criticized the basic structure doctrine. So on one hand, the basic structure doctrine is facing criticism at the hands of the Parliament, but on the other hand, our CJI, that is the Chief Justice of India, Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud, refers the basic structure doctrine as the North Star in the interpretation of the fundamental principles of the Indian Constitution. So there is an ongoing tussle between the Parliament and the judiciary in relation to the basic structure doctrine. So what do we mean by this term basic structure doctrine? Let us proceed to understand. So if we try to understand the term, meaning of the term basic structure, it refers to the core values, the foundation and the ideal principles that forms the bedrock of our Indian Constitution. So this doctrine was evolved to establish that the Parliament does not have a power to amend under Article 368 of our Indian Constitution. The basic structure, the core values, the principles enshrined in our Indian Constitution. So on these matters, the Parliament does not have an amending power. The doctrine of basic structure is a form of judicial review that is used to test the legality of any legislation by the courts. So whenever any legislation is passed by the Parliament, the court tests it on the touchstone of the basic structure doctrine. For example, the NJAC constitutional amendment was struck down by the Supreme Court, holding it to be violative of the basic structure doctrine, as the Supreme Court perceived that it hampered the independence of the judiciary, which forms the part of the basic structure. So there are many foundational pillars of our Indian Constitution which are regarded as the basic structure, such as federalism, such as democratic form of government, such as independence of the judiciary, such as separation of powers. So all of these is regarded as the foundational pillars of our Indian Constitution. And if the Parliament passes a Constitutional Amendment Act which violates this basic structure, the judiciary is empowered to struck down that Constitutional Amendment Act as unconstitutional. So over the years, various facets of basic structure doctrine have evolved, forming the basis for judicial review of constitutional amendments. So and this was all about the basic structure doctrine. Now let us proceed to understand how the doctrine evolved in India, the various case laws which helped in the evolution of the doctrine of basic structure in India. So the first case is Shankri Prasad versus Union of India. So this is the very first case in which the first Constitutional Amendment Act was challenged, and the Supreme Court held that the Constitutional Amendment Act is a law within Article 13 of our Indian Constitution, and due to this the Parliament has a power to amend the Constitution, and the Constitutional Amendment Act can even take away or abridge our fundamental rights. So in this case the Supreme Court held that the Parliament has a power to take away the or abridge our fundamental rights, and it upheld the first Constitutional Amendment Act. But this stance of the Supreme Court was changed in the case of I.C. Golaknath versus State of Punjab. The Supreme Court reversed its earlier stand in the case of Shankri Prasad versus Union of India. The constitutional validity of 17th Amendment Act was challenged in this case, which inserted certain state acts in the 9th schedule And if the parliament inserts certain acts in the ninth schedule, that means it is protecting it from the purview of the judicial review. So ninth schedule was very controversial at that time, because whatever laws the parliament places in the ninth schedule was not to be allowed to be judicially reviewed, and that is why it was challenged in this case. The Supreme Court ruled that fundamental rights are given transcendental and immutable possession, and hence the parliament cannot abridge or take away any of these rights. So, in this case, the Supreme Court in explicit terms stated that the parliament does not have a power to amend the fundamental rights of our Indian constitution, and it cannot take away or abridge our fundamental rights. So this case came to in contrary to the previous case of Shankari Prasad. In the case of Shankari Prasad, the Supreme Court held that the parliament has a power to amend the fundamental rights, but in this case, it reversed its stance and said that the fundamental rights cannot be amended by the parliament. The Supreme Court in this case also held that a constitutional amendment is also a law within the meaning of Article 13, and hence would be void for violating any of the fundamental rights. So the parliament had to react, because the Supreme Court had challenged its power to amend the fundamental rights. So in a retaliation, the parliament enacted the 24th Constitutional Amendment Act, and this act amended Article 13 and 368. It declared that the parliament has the power to abridge or take away any of the fundamental rights under Article 368, and such an act will not be considered within the purview of the term law that is given in Article 13 of our Indian Constitution. So this was what has happened from 1951 to the I.C. Golaknath case. This was the constitutional history and development of that point. So this constitutional amendment, that is the 24th constitutional amendment, was challenged in the landmark case of Keshwanand Bharti versus State of Kerala. And in this case, the Supreme Court evolved the basic structure doctrine. The Supreme Court held that although Parliament has the power to amend any part of the Constitution, it could not use this power to alter or destroy the basic structure of the Constitution. So, in this case itself, the Supreme Court evolved the basic structure doctrine, and hence it states that any of the foundational pillars which form the basic structure of the Constitution cannot be amended by the Parliament under Article 368. The 13-judge bench gave 11 separate judgments, and the doctrine was called out as the majority opinion in this case. So, as I am discussing this before also, that the doctrine of basic structure was evolved in the Keshwanand Bharti case by the Supreme Court. The basic structure theory was applied for the first time after its introduction in the Indira Gandhi versus Raj Narain case. So what happened was, in the Indira Gandhi and Raj Narain case, the election of Indira Gandhi was held to be unconstitutional as it involved electoral malpractices by her. So the Allahabad High Court stated that she was not legally elected, and hence overruled her election as the Prime Minister. So to overrule this judgment of the Allahabad High Court, the government brought the 39 Constitutional Amendment Act, and it prohibited judicial review of the election of the President, Vice President, Speaker and the Prime Minister of India, even if there was an electoral malpractice. So this Constitutional Amendment Act was challenged in this case, and the Supreme Court held that elections are a basic structure of our Indian Constitution. So free and fair elections form the part of the basic structure of our Indian Constitution, and hence the electoral malpractices cannot be put out of the concept of judicial review. They can be judicially reviewed, and elections were declared to be a part of the basic structure of our Indian Constitution. Then came the Minerva Mills case in 1980. The 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act is also known as the mini constitution of India. Why? Because it changed most of the provisions of the Indian Constitution, and this was brought by the Indira Gandhi government. And in this Minerva Mill case, the constitutional validity of the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act was challenged. In a majority verdict, the Supreme Court upheld the power of judicial review of constitutional amendments. So, judicial review was declared as the basic structure in the Minerva Mill case. The 42nd constitutional amendment had such provisions which could not be within the purview of judicial review. It means that it intended to curtail the power of judicial review. But this concept of judicial review of constitutional amendment acts was declared as the part of the basic structure doctrine in the Minerva Mill case. So, this was all about the evolution of the basic structure doctrine from the Shankari Prasad case to the Minerva Mill case. Now, let us proceed to understand what is the criticism of this doctrine, why this doctrine is criticized by the parliament. So, the first point of criticism is it gives judiciary the power to impose itself over a democratically elected government. So, this is a major tussle between the parliament and the judiciary, and it started from the declaring NJAC Act as unconstitutional. So, the parliament perceives it that by utilizing the concept of basic structure doctrine, the judiciary tries to impose itself over the parliament, which is a democratically elected government, and hence the judiciary acts as more powerful than the democratically elected government. So, this is the major point of tussle between the parliament and the judiciary, which started from the NJAC Act, which was held to be unconstitutional. Then the second point is the basic structure doctrine is not mentioned in the constitution. So, the parliament often argues that this basic structure doctrine is not mentioned explicitly in our Indian constitution, and this has been evolved only by way of judicial pronouncement. But the supporters of this doctrine state that it is the basis of the Indian constitution. It forms the bedrock of the Indian constitution, and hence even though it is not mentioned in the Indian constitution explicitly, this does not mean the whole doctrine can be disregarded by the parliament. Then the third point of criticism is parliamentary sovereignty and autonomy cannot be permitted to be compromised by either the executive or the judiciary. So, the parliament often argues that the judiciary uses this doctrine to undermine the parliament. But this is not the case. The basic structure doctrine, as is argued by the supporters of this doctrine, helps to maintain a check and balance on the unrestricted use of the parliamentary powers by the parliament. So, this forms a check and balance on the power of the legislature. So, that is why this doctrine is important, and this is argued is in favor of this doctrine. So, this was the basic criticism of this doctrine, that the judiciary tries to superimpose itself on the parliament, and the parliament is definitely not happy about it, especially after the NJC Act was struck down by the Supreme Court. Now, let us see why there is a need to reinforce the basic structure doctrine. So, the first is point of contention in this regard is the censorship of speeches in the parliament. So, recently what happened was the speech of Ranjan Gogoi, who is our ex-CJI, was curtailed in the Rajya Sabha. The speech which he gave in Rajya Sabha was censored by the parliament. So, the critics argue that this should not happen. Everyone has a freedom of speech and expression in the parliament, and if someone is expressing its free views, its own views, then he should be allowed to express it. And this has reignited the debate which was going on in 1951 when the first constitutional amendment was passed by the parliament, and parliament is trying to use its power without any restraint. And the second is tussle between the parliament and the judiciary. So, as I was explaining this before also, there is an ongoing tussle between the parliament and the judiciary in regard to the basic structure doctrine. But the basic structure doctrine allows the judiciary to test various legislations that are passed by the parliament on the foundational stone of the basic structure of our Indian constitution. So, in no way it can be allowed to amend the basic structure doctrine, and it also maintains a check and balance on the unrestricted use of power by the parliament, and there is a need to reinforce the basic structure doctrine due to this ongoing tussle between the judiciary and the parliament. Then it is deeply rooted in the constitutional text and history. So as I was discussing before, this point is argued by the supporters of the basic structure doctrine, that though it is not explicitly mentioned in our Indian constitution, it is deeply rooted in its text and history of our Indian constitution, and that is why there is a need to enforce the basic structure doctrine. The basic structure doctrine also enhances the democratic fabric which has been envisaged in our Indian constitution. So in Indian constitution, there is a separation of power between the legislature, executive and the judiciary. And all of these organs maintain a check and balance on each other. So that is why the basic structure doctrine strengthens the democratic principle that has been envisaged in our Indian constitution by limiting the unrestrained use of the parliament. The parliament cannot contend that it is supreme. In any democracy, the constitution is the supreme. So this autonomy of the parliament, this unchecked power of the parliament is checked by the basic structure doctrine. So that is why the experts are arguing that the time has now come to reinforce the doctrine of the basic structure. With this, we come to a conclusion of our today's discussion. We have seen what is the basic structure doctrine. We have also discussed the legislative cases which helped in the evolution of the basic structure doctrine. We have also seen why the basic structure doctrine is being criticized. We have also seen that why there is a need to reinforce this doctrine of basic structure, and we have also pondered upon the debate of the jurisprudential aspect of the basic structure doctrine. So currently there is a difference in interpretation of the basic structure doctrine, and this problem can be solved if the basic structure doctrine is codified in a form of a law, and it will help in achieving uniform interpretations throughout the courts of the territory of India. And that is why the experts are arguing that now the time is right to codify this basic structure doctrine. Now let us see a practice question for your prelims examination. Consider the following statements, and this is a previous year question which has been asked in UPSC GS paper in 2020. So the first statement is, the Constitution of India defines basic structure in terms of federalism, secularism, fundamental rights and democracy. The Constitution of India provides for judicial review to safeguard the citizens' liberties and to preserve the ideals on which the Constitution is based. Which of the following statement given above are correct? Kindly drop your answer in the comment box below. Now let us see a practice question for your mains examination. So this is also a previous year question which has been asked in 2019, and the question is, Parliament's power to amend the Constitution is limited power and it cannot be enlarged into absolute power. In light of this statement, explain whether Parliament under Article 368 of Constitution can destroy the basic structure of the Constitution by expanding its amending power. I hope this session was insightful for you. If you find today's discussion helpful, kindly like the video and subscribe to our channel for more such updates. Thank you.